Hey everybody, this is Sheets, and we're going to be doing our contrarian betting breakdown for UFC, I think it's 316, for this weekend. And we're going to make one change to our process for these videos, which we're going to get to in a second. Last week, oh my God, we were so close to some huge, huge scores. With Juliana Miller inside the distance, just couldn't quite get that finish. And then there were like two more later on that, boy, could have gotten like 15 to 1 shots home. Just couldn't quite do it. So we're going to move on to this card. And again, we'll talk about the concept here, and then we will make one change to our rules that we try to follow every week in this video. Again, the idea here is to just be able to identify which narrative is just being perpetrated by the public way too hard. The idea being that if it's the story that's the easiest story to tell, then that by definition is going to make it overvalued. So what we have to do is fade that, and then just based on our knowledge of fights, come up with basically anything else. Okay, and the thing that's actually not least likely to happen, but the thing that's being completely ignored by the public that has a chance to happen is really where you're supposed to go. But the idea here is to train your mind into not just accepting the common narrative, because even if you do accept it as being the most likely outcome, it's almost always going to be the most overbet and most overvalued outcome. So that's what we're trying to accomplish here. And yes, we're trying to make money, but more so to kind of train your minds how to think about betting markets, whether it be UFC, stock market, okay, anything like that. Um, so we did have some rules here, which we're going to now violate. So what we used to do until literally right now is commit to betting every fight on the card. Um, but what I'm not going to do that anymore, only because there's just some fights that there's just no common narrative. I mean, there's just either no one's talking about it, or it's just such a boring fight that no one really has an opinion. So to be contrarian in fights like that, you're just literally forcing it, and I'm just not going to do that. But aside from that, we're going to identify probably at least half of these fights, maybe more, where I do have a lean uh, on what a good contrarian play might be. Now, the other thing that we are going to stick to are a couple of things. Number one, we are going to be betting one unit every fight that we bet. And for us, one unit is going to be literally $180, 10 times high. Good luck. And again, I always find it important to put actually a dollar figure on what I'm betting. I don't know. I just always think it's healthy if you're going to release your picks and things like that to actually say how much you're betting and not just reduce it to units. I don't know. Anyway, um, and obviously, betting one unit every single fight is not the best money management system in the world, but that's outside the scope of this video. The other thing that we are going to do that's still just a lot of fun is we are going to presume that we lose every fight on the card until the main events, and then what we have to do is bet as much as possible on the main event to make sure that we get our money back. Now, what I mean bet as much as possible, I mean win as much as possible. So if we bet, say, 8 fights before the main event, we have to bet something that gets at least 8 to 1 in the main event. Now, there's a little wrinkle in it this week in that there are two main events. Um, or is it really two main events? Like, is the Shevchenko fight really considered a main event? I guess they have to. They're both 5 round fights. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to presume we lose every fight, and then we're going to take shots at both of those. So if you just want to watch those two main events, you're definitely going to get something contrarian, and definitely going to get something that has very little chance to win, but definitely is going to win a lot when it does. So let's just kind of go through one by one. I'll give you some takes if you want, but like Brad Katona against Alma, because you know what we're going to do. I am going to give my one thing every fight, but I'm going to qualify it by saying what's contrarian and what's not. So I do think that Katona is very live here to get his wrestling going. And when that happens, I think he's also very live to get a submission. So we're going to take a shot here. And this is actually sort of, I guess, this is a little bit contrarian. Um, I mean, by submission, Katona is like 16 to 1. Um, I don't even think we need to do that. I think we just play him inside the distance. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So Winning method, Katona by inside the distance. That's by TKO or submission plus 900. Uh, yeah, we're gonna have to try it. Now it might not let us put it in right now because it's Zoom doesn't really DraftKings really doesn't like when you're logged into Zoom. But we'll do it later. So actually, I kind of like this one. All right, Daniel Santos versus Jun Lee. All right, so this one I'm hearing quite a bit about how John Young Lee just is much bigger reach, and Santos really can't hang at this particular weight class. And as a result, all the money has been coming in on John Young Lee. So I think we want to be contrarian here and play Willie Cat here, play Santos. Now again, it's not a huge price, but I still think that it's the way to go. So we'll just play Santos plus the 120. All right. Marc-Andre Barrio versus Bruno Silva. All right, this one I like. So Bruno Silva at his last fight, notably in his interview said, "I literally have no interest in fighting anymore, and I literally had no interest in fighting." And as a result, I mean, everybody remembers that. And Marc-Andre Barrio, even though he got dusted recently, he's got this reputation for always putting a pace on, always coming forward. He's in his home country of Canada. Bruno Silva. I mean, this is like the worst possible matchup for Bruno Silva because you gotta listen. You have to have heart to fight off the Marc-Andre Barrio volume. So it seems as though this is a perfect time for Bruno Silva to kind of fold it up. So what we are going to do is we are going to take Bruno Silva. And if that's not hard enough, okay, that's not contrarian enough. The other thing I'm hearing is that Bruno Silva, his win condition is going to be by a KO. If he doesn't get a KO win, he just kind of has no chance, and he's going to get out volumed. So we're going to be really nasty here, and we are going to play actually Bruno Silva by decision. So Bruno Silva by decision, literally no chance to win. So that's why we are going to do it. Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Erslan. No real opinion there. People are very lukewarm in recommending Navajo Sterling. They're not exactly sure how he's going to do it either. So there's really no edge there. There's no common narrative. So we're going to pass that one. This one we're not going to pass. So Modestas Bukauskas versus Ian Cutelaba. So here's the thing. Yes, the majority of the people here are on Cutelaba, but even more so, they're pretty sure about what's going to happen here. In other words, that the people that like Bukauskas don't imagine him winning inside the distance. Okay, they're just imagining him being a better technical striker and getting this decision. Where Cutelaba, if he wins, he's more likely to get the to finish. So, well, those are the two things you can't bet. I mean, you can't bet Bukauskas by decision, and you can't bet Cutelaba really inside the distance. So these are our two choices. We could either bet Bukauskas inside or Cutelaba by decision. I wonder which one is even more likely. So you have Cutelaba by decision is plus 600. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. As opposed to, let's see, Bukauskas inside plus 225. That's it? All right, we're gonna have to try this. Cutelaba by decision plus 180. Excellent. All right, moving on. We have Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jasdovicius. I'm going to talk through this and see if I can't figure this out. So what everybody's sure about, and I guess this makes sense, is that Jasmine Jasdovicius is going to take her down and just keep her down and just destroy her. However, there is some, not perception, but there is some steam, at least on the idea that if Andrade can get the striking going, that she's going to have a big edge there. So what you can do here, okay, is one of two things. You could play Andrade by decision, and that would be pretty nasty. The other thing you could do is you could play Jazz Devicious by knockout. And again, it's kind of a weird thing, but she can get a knockout by grappling. You know, if she gets her on the ground and then starts going for the ground and pound instead of the sub, you could definitely make that work. So I think both of those are going to be really long. So let's just take a look and see. I'm glad I actually talked through this. I think either of those, either Andrade by decision or Jazz Devicious by KO, are both going to pay a ton. So Jazz Devicious, well, Andrade by decision plus 650. Wow, it's a little bit more than Jazz Devicious by KO. So what does an Andrade by decision look like? I mean, just keeping it on the feed. You know, it's going to be a boy. I'll tell you something else. It's going to be tough to get this decision in Canada. So let's do it. Let's play. Oh boy, oh boy. That has so little chance to win. Andrade by decision that I might just try it. Boy, this is so close. Andrade by decision or Jazz Devicious by KO. Well, you know what we can do? Let's do this. We're going to go into the fight odds, and let's just see if either of these people can win by those methods. So let's look at Andrade. Has she ever won by decision? Yeah, look at this. Won by decision, won by decision. TKO, KO, KO. So she's won by decision. So we could try this. And let's see Jazz Devicious. She won by KO. No, not in a long time. Okay. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to play Andrade by decision plus 650. Okay. Moving on. Mike Malott versus Charles Radke. So Charles Radke is clearly, and this is the shout out to MMA Magic for this terminology, he is clearly the hipster underdog of the week. Charles Radke's been taking all kinds of steam. Mike Malott, specifically from his last outing in Canada, right? I'm pretty sure that his last time fight in Canada, did he not lose to Neil Magny? And he got like just rolled in the final in the last round or so. So people are going to remember that. And Charles Radke, they are just really going to town on him. So we're going to actually be sort of contrarian and play him a lot. And we are going to play him by decision. This is going to be a real tough one to get home, but we're going to do it. So Malott by decision plus 180. I mean, for 180 plus 3. All right, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Kyle Propolic. There's just nothing to do here. I mean, he's going to win, and it's going to be a finish, and it's going to be either round 1, round 2, and people are really trying for both. So people are trying for knockouts, submissions. I mean, we can take a look at the prices, but it doesn't even have anything here. Let's just see. It's just a money line. It's a ridiculous fight. Okay. Moving on, we have Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. So, I mean, who died and said Natalia Silva was the GOAT? Okay. You know, you have Alexa Grasso, who is like one fight removed from being champ. You know what I mean? Like she fought 3 fights against Valentina Shevchenko, and she was really awesome in 2 of them, right? Her last one, she threw up a dud. I mean, listen, this is what happens when you have a wrestling disadvantage. These things can snowball, okay? And once it's kind of like in this pattern where you just can't stop the takedowns, these things just snowball, and that's just what happened in her last fight. I mean, Valentina just got it going, and Alexa could do nothing about it. But the fact is that I don't know which one I'm more impressed with. I mean, the first fight, She was doing okay. Actually, she was losing, and then she got kind of fluky whatever submission. But she claims that she was preparing for that. I kind of believe her. The second fight, I thought she was really good. You know, Valentina is amazing. For Alexa Grasso to have 3 fights like that with her, and now she's plus 220 against Natalia Silva, who's basically fought nobody. I don't know. I can't do this. So we're gonna take Grasso here. And when you even listen to the touts and the experts, you know what they're all saying? Well, I'd love to take Grasso, but I just can't because okay, so we will. Grasso plus the 220 for 180. Um, Jose Aldo versus Amin Zahabi. You have two fighters who fight a very technical, kind of a boring, not boring, whatever, a very technical style of fight. Zahabi was in one of the more boring fights of all time against Ricky Tercios, and Jose Aldo he's just never in any fights that finish. So obviously, what we have to do here, we have to bet this fight to um, to end inside the distance. So let's see. Fight props. Fight does not go. Plus 220. Literally no chance to win for the brand. Okay. So I think we are at the end, right? What do we have? A couple of so 12 fights. We had 8 picks and only 2 passes. All right, so we're flying here, and we're obviously going to lose all 8 of them. So in each of these main events, we have to pick something that is 9-1, and that should not be too hard considering the way I'm gonna analyze these. So the good thing about both of these fights is that everybody's sure what's going to happen, and we're gonna get nobody's exactly sure who's going to win, but everybody's sure what's going to happen, and what's going to happen in the Shevchenko fight is that Shevchenko is going to go for takedowns, and if she can get them, she's going to win, and if she cannot get them, then Firo is probably going to win a striking based decision. Okay, so these are the things you can't play. I mean, first of all, you probably can't play Shevchenko by decision, and you probably can't play Firo by decision. You actually have to do something inside the distance here. So we could play either Shevchenko inside, which is probably very long. Okay, I haven't even looked yet. Or we could play Firo inside the distance as well. Now the problem is that it's the problem is that I don't know if we're going to be able to get the 8-1 on those. So let's just take a look. Okay, so first of all, let's just go backwards. So the fight props in general, fight to finish is plus 200. Let's look at just in general both these fighters. So let's just look at both them inside the distance first of all. Shevchenko inside is plus 450. Firo inside is plus 500. Okay, so that's not going to work. Okay, so we could pick by an actual by a method, and I know that this is brutal. Okay, but I think what you're supposed to do here is play either Shevchenko by knockout or Firo by submission for some reason. Yeah, you know what, guys? I mean, I just paused it for a second. I got to thinking about this. There's just nothing to do here. I mean, there really isn't. There's no real consensus. I mean, if there was anything I would consider, and this isn't fair because if I'm not betting it, I don't want to even give it out. Okay. I mean, I would even try something stupid like Firo by sub or something like that. Because you know what? What's her name? Uh, Grasso got a sub against Valentina. That's the only time I've ever seen her lose is somebody subbing her. but I don't think Fiorot is literally ever. All right, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look. This is so stupid, but we're gonna do it anyway. Let's take a look at the records of these fighters, and let's just see if there's any of these results in their histories. So let's look at Fiorot. Has he ever subbed anybody? There's no way, right? No. It's just not going to happen. And what about Shevchenko by knockout? I mean, we could try that, I guess. What has this even ever happened? Yeah, sure. Okay, that's what we're going to try. That's what we're going to try. So let's pull this up. So Shevchenko by knockout, perfect. Plus 900. That'll work. Okay. And if you didn't read between the lines here, this definitely feels like a force, right? But that's what we're doing. Shevchenko by TKO or KO or DQ, right? Plus 900. And then in the main, I guess the co-main event, I guess, Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. There's a little bit of controversy with this one because, you know, on paper, people are just presuming that it's Muhammad, if he can get his takedowns, is going to just own Jack Della Maddalena. Maddalena's been taken down by much worse fighters than Bilal Muhammad, and Bilal Muhammad has taken down much better fighters than Jack Della. And if he gets them, it's just going to be one-way traffic. But there was a kind of a monkey in the wrench thrown in, sort of, to say, turn a phrase, where Bilal came out earlier this week and basically promised that he was not going to go for any takedowns. And let's get into that a little bit. Okay. So I'm not saying that he's telling the truth. All right. I honestly don't know. All right. But all I will say is this, is that if you're counting on Bilal Muhammad to get takedowns, and if in fact he does not go for any, you really have no reason to complain. You know what I mean? He literally came straight out and said he's going to try to win this fight on the feet. And everybody's just presuming he's lying. So this is now actually contrarian to believe him. so I'm kind of down with two different options here. One is Bilal by KO, and the other, which is really really gross, is the ultra lying situation that he does go for the takedowns, and yet Maddalena subs it, and we try this a lot, accepting that a fight's going to go to the ground and play the non-taker downer, okay, to get the sub. And what Jack Della Maddalena has going for him in this variation is that he does have subs, is that he does have subs on his resume. So I think either of these are kind of chilled. Bilal by KO plus 800. Remember that this is live a couple of ways. Number one is by him just winning on the feet and knocking him out, as he did to Sean Brady, by the way. Or he gets the takedowns and just gets in a ground and pound position and gets KOs that way. I really would love to play Della Maddalena by submission. I really would. Let's let's take a look and see. Let's confirm what I remember. He does have a sub over Randy Brown in the first round. He does have a sub several years ago. All right, so he does have that in him. It is so dumb. Maybe I'll just do both. I know you guys want me to do this, right? I'll tell you this. If it comes in and I don't have it, I'm going to be so steamed. So we're just going to do it. Oh, wait, what did I do here? So we're going to put in, oops. We got to do this all over again. So this is going to be 180. It's going to be 180. Yeah, we're gonna unfortunately have to try this. Sigh. Well, I'll tell you, if we pull this off, we're freaking incredible heroes. And then by doing this, we're getting to see all the terrible plays we made along the way. Okay. And then Della Maddalena by sub. Let's go. We okay. So that is going to do it. Stay tuned for the lineup construction video, which we're going to probably do later tonight, if not first thing in the morning. And that's it. Good luck, everybody.